Guess who? And if you can't guess, well, you're just not paying attention. Joseph Carrabba's here, for those who didn't know. We're continuing this, I hope to God, is the last entry in the character voice, author voice series. And we're listening to Jewel. For those of you not familiar with Jewel, listen. Anyway, author voice. Some people may claim that, excuse me, author voice is in every other voice that I've mentioned. Okay, fine, I'll go along with that. But author voice is the tone and the mood and the language of the book, not just the characters, not author as character, not author is the character. This is the language of the story. This is where you communicate your ability as an author. This is literally your voice. It is your brand, for lack of anything else, put into the manuscript. So that noted, I'm going to do two readings for you today. First one is from Tales to Run Celestial Campfires. The story is Manahe. Anthony Morelli saw the Badger across the street as he came out of South Street Station, where the MBTA's southern terminus washed people towards one financial place. Anthony wore his St. James suit, a bright grays with black pinstripe, with cream Oxford shirt and red and gold pumped satin tie, diamond studs, stockings which blended with his trousers, and black wingtips. It was an early Boston fall, and Channel 4 forecasted light drizzle. Morelli's raincoat was draped over his left arm, and his accountant's case pulled down his right like a ship's keel in a storm. Today he made the presentation showing the errors in Thompson's plan. That's just the opening paragraph. And recognize, number one, the story at this point is being told in third person. We are being told the narration of the story is in third person. You could argue that this is pure exposition, description. Okay, if you're going to do that, though, recognize what is being described and exposited. Anthony Morelli saw the Badger across the street as he came out of South Station, where the MBTA's southern terminus washed people towards one financial place. So, okay, we have a Badger, all right. South Station, MBTA's southern terminus washed people towards one financial place. There is a contradiction of concepts there. A Badger. He sees the Badger. There's a rush of people, a wash of people coming out of MBTA's southern terminus. Anthony wore a St. James suit, bright grays and black pinstripe, cream Oxford shirt, red and gold pump satin tie, diamond studs, stockings which blended with his trousers, and black wingtips. This guy is getting described, and he's not a slouch. He's a guy who dresses for success. You never know once you read the story. But he's dressed in a very specific way, and the author is conveying that to you. The author wants you to be prepared for the contradiction of concepts that's coming up. Morelli's raincoat was draped over his left arm, and his accountant's case pulled down his right like a ship's keel in a storm. Bit of foreshadowing, in case you're not aware. Today he made the presentation showing the errors in Thompson's plan. So we've already set you up that there's a bit of foreshadowing. Ship's keel in a storm, and he's going to show the errors in Thompson's plan. Now let's go to paragraph 2. The Badger sat on a pretzel wagon. People were buying soft pretzels with mustard, soft pretzels with cheese, soft pretzels with extra salt. The Badger was passing small talk and change, and nobody else seemed to notice. Contradiction in concepts. The author has set you up right from the beginning that this is going to be a story of great contradictions, of confusions, of learnings on the main character's part, Anthony Morelli. So that's Manahe in Celestial Campfires. Now we're going to go to search. We're going to go to the very opening, first paragraph. And this is Friday, 30 November 1973, first paragraph. John Chance's hair rose on his arms as if reaching for the wind. The air around him shimmered. He paused, raking the hillside between Ramsey College's finance and admin buildings, and flattened the hairs with a gloved hand. It would happen again, and soon. But if he just kept about his work, no one would notice. He could ignore it, and it would go away. He focused on what was happening around him, locked himself to what was immediate, what was here and now, and let the slope of the hill guide his rake. Lost himself in the feel of the wooden handle, the tines pulling crinkling leaves, the smell of freshly mowed grass. Down the hill and across the service road was a lake, a bigger than average pond, really. In the summer, with little rains, it became briny due to the proximity of the Atlantic a few miles away. Now it was full and clear, and lily pads formed little traveling islands. More and more often, there'd be a glaze of ice rimming the edges of the pond, along the shore where the trees, sedges, and rushes drank deep before the light autumn warmth yielded to the colds of winter. Okay, so that's the opening 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph, John Chance's hair rose on his arms as if reaching for the wind. The air around him shimmered. We don't know why this is happening, but it is something happening which people can relate to. It is very kinesthetic, except the air around him shimmered, somehow related to the hair rising on his arms as if reaching for the wind. Okay, there is a slight hint of mythic in that, a slight hint of fantasy. He paused, raking the hillside between Ramsey College's finance and admin buildings, and flattened the hairs with a gloved hand. Okay, we have a bit more detail about John Chance here. We know that he's on a college campus. We know that he's doing basically yard work, groundwork. He's on the grounds crew. It would happen again and soon, but if he just kept about his work, no one would notice. He could ignore it, and it would go away. So whatever is going on with the hair on his arms rising, the air shimmering, it's not something he relishes. It's not something he wants to have happen. It would happen again and soon. But if he just kept about his work, what the author is telling you is that very quickly in the first 3 paragraphs, which are short paragraphs, we're finding out that the main character at this point, John Chance, is caught up in something he does not wish to be caught up in, something which he wants to avoid, something which he does not like, he's not happy with, okay? What does he do? He focused on what was happening around him, locked himself to what was immediate, what was here and now, and let the slope of the hill guide his rake. Lost himself in the feel of the wooden handle, the tines pulling crinkling leaves, the smell of freshly mowed grass. A lot of sensory information for this John Chance character. He is, through the author, obviously someone who pays attention to what's going on around him. He's very sensorially aware. Very important in the story. He talks about the lake, about its proximity to the Atlantic, full and clear. It was now full and clear. Lily pads form little traveling islands. More and more often, there'd be a glaze of ice rimming the edges of the pond, along the shore where the trees, sedges, and rushes drank deep before the late autumn warmth yielded to the cold of winter. Again, foreshadowing right there on the first page, something's coming in winter. Something's coming to John Chance. Right now, everything's clear and wonderful. Little lily pads forming. They're having a great time. Oh, I'm a little lily pad going across the Lake Kitty. However, more and more often, there'll be a glaze of ice. Things are not going to be clear in a bit. They're going to be confusing. Rimming the edges of the pond. There's going to be something encroaching on that clarity. Along the shore where the trees, sedges, and rushes drank deep before the late autumn warmth yielded to the colds of winter. Again, pure author voice, setting everything up as quickly as possible, framing it, both in there and in Monaghan, for you, the reader, to get a full sense, to be engaged and be prepared. You've got what you need right there to have an idea what's going to happen the rest of the story. It's not all given to you, but enough is given to you so that if you are paying attention, and I'm not saying you should, but hope you do, especially in my stuff, you really should in anybody's work. If you're paying attention, And even if you're not really, subconsciously, you should be picking up all these clues that are preparing you for what we hope will be a really good, enjoyable ride. There you go, author's voice. We did the four voices. We did character voice, author as character, author is character, and now pure author voice. I mentioned in the previous one that Susan made me Sicilian wedding cookies. I am loved. I'm going to have some more tonight. And you're not. There you go. I'm not sure, but I think the next one is going to be on research because the current story I'm working on, Fane's Eye, is involving a lot of research. And I just spent a couple of hours with a phenomenal research subject. So anyway, who knows? It may never happen. Hope you're enjoying. Have a great day. Take care. Yes, I'm going to go searching for the stop recording button, and it's hidden away in my taskbar. What is? Oh, there it is.